I know.
What do we just see? What did we just see?
We are live. Oh my God.
My Lord.
Everybody, welcome to my channel. Me and my good friend, Herb the Love Dog, have just witnessed history where the world record deadlift has just been broken by Hathor Bjornsson.
Easy.
Yeah, he did it. He did it smooth, man. The world record deadlift has just been broken by Hathor.
Sorry, bro. Yeah, I had a bit of interference here. Go again.
Yeah. But so when you were watching it, man, we have a brief discussion before whether he'd be able to do it or not. So what were your thoughts when we were coming into the lift?
Okay, so watching his first warm up, I think it was 520. That went up real quick. When he went into the second attempt and did the 465, the only thing that I had to reference of was his past work that he did in 2015 in the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible lift, but he got it. But he hitched the hell out of it, but he got it. Watching him do the 465 today, I was just like, that was quick with a very little hitch at the top. I was just like, man, that was very quick. I think matched up to Eddie's. Some were saying that it was faster than Eddie's. I'd probably say that it was around about the same. Other than that, Eddie's legs looked a bit more wobblier than Thor's. Thor had a lot of power straight through. It just looked consistent all the way out. It looked really good. And then we got to that main lift. So by the time he had finished his recovery stage and getting ready for the lift, I think I messaged you just before he was about to lift, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds before he was about to lift. And I went, I think he's going to pull it, and he's probably going to go for 520 afterwards. Because it's just how calm he was, because there was no mad hype. There was no big screaming and yelling going into it. Really, just his normal training session, and he just went in there and blasted it.
Absolutely. Now, Eddie Hall, of course, is we're both a fan of Eddie Hall. God bless him.
Absolutely, love the guy.
He was watching this, and I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, he's held the record now since 2016. And there've been a couple people trying to attempt it. Do you think Eddie Hall is going to jump back in now to try and retake the title?
Well, as you and I both know, you've seen the interview that he had. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where Eddie said that it might stir him enough to get back in and go for a 550, because he feels he's got a 550. Now, thinking about it, you're like, after we saw him break that world record 4 years ago, he was a mess for 2 weeks. You've seen that the aftermath, the interviews that he had. He was hurt, man.
Yes.
But in saying that, these guys, these athletes, these top competitors, these pros, when they put their mind to something, there's nothing stopping them. So it could bring him back. Now, did you see the end of it though? When Thor did his interview. So
yes, I did.
Thor's interview, like, I'm not sure if I read that right, but it sounded like Thor said that he got a 7-figure contract, and Eddie got sent the same contract as well for a fight.
A boxing match.
For a fight?
Yeah. Now, you got to fill in the viewers. We actually have some people in the chat. So Amos and my friend Specular Effect, they're all saying hi. They were all watching.
Hey, what's up, people, man?
Yeah.
So we've got these two huge men coming in for a fight. Okay. Now I've got a minuscule fight background. Okay.
Yes.
And I know the quality and the effort that it takes to do that.
Let people know a little bit about your fight background.
Okay, so I did semi-pro mixed martial arts, so nothing serious, but it was enough for me to get in the cage. I've done it, and I won the title in London for heavyweight in that organization that I was with WCMMA, which is under the UCMMA umbrella. But anyway, it's still like now for me to get back into a cage or in the ring, I would need 1 year to get fighting fit. To be fighting fit and lifting fit are completely two separate entities right now. We're looking at two different worlds here. I've seen, these guys are top dog athletes. You give them that much, but to cross over, are we looking at some sort of weird hugging match? Because, like, I got a lot of respect for these guys, but to cross over to the fighting realm, it'll be two kids on a playground. It will be that bad. Like if you know anything about the MMA realm, Kimbo Slice and I think his name was D2000. They were heavyweights in Bellator. That fight was the worst. Go look it up. Go look it up. Kimbo Slice, and I think it was D2000. I think it was the worst heavyweight fight ever to watch. And if those guys who train mixed martial arts and who train fighting look that bad, watching Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson get in a ring, I don't know, man. It's basically going to be two blind bulls running at each other. It's really not going to look good.
I know. And for the viewers and those who don't understand, I mean, the heavy lifting and so forth, there's a certain body condition you need to lift heavy weights. But on fighting, you need endurance as well as everything else, not just strength. As well as to be able to take a blow definitely helps. Yep. So exactly what you're saying, it is two very different outcomes there.
But not only that, they will lose if they decide to do that, and they continue to train strongman. They're not going to actually be fighting fit. They're really just going to walk in there as two big blokes just going to try and slug it out. That's really all it's going to be. Because in order to go into be fighting fit, they're going to lose their strength. Because you're sport specific, you change over. The crossover is just it's too dramatic.
Yeah. I mean, this is a conversation I've had with people in the gym for myself, which I miss the gym. Bro, I'm so jealous you got that set up in your yard. But yeah, if you're training endurance and you're doing a lot of cardio and you're doing a lot of this, your body actually wants to lose the muscle because it wants to be able, it takes a lot of energy to maintain that muscle mass.
Absolutely.
But if you're building strength, there's not as much cardio. Yes, you have cardio for weight loss, but it's not as much cardio because you want to send those signals, to let the muscles get bigger. So you're exactly right. So Eddie would have a slight upper hand because he's trimmed down a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, he's lost the weight. I mean, yeah, he has abs now. Some people say they're implants, but I mean, you can see his abs. We don't know, man.
I think those are his abs because the guy lifts without a belt.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And that kind of core strength to lift without a belt. I'm just like, the guy's amazing. There was another. This goes into the society that we live in. We had what was it? A YouTubers fight that was put up by it was KSI and Paul Logan. I think it's Paul Logan. Is that right?
Right. They were supposed to
Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that was okay. They did. I think they did a first fight. It might have been their second fight, but it was terrible to watch. But money maker. Hey, and to be fair, if these two boys can get some cash, then good for them. If people are going to pay to watch it, good for them. Mate, hey, money's money. Make it your hustle.
I agree.
Pay your bills.
But getting back to the lift now. All right, so the stage is set. They've weighed the weights. It's the 501. What's going through your mind as you're watching him step up to the bar to the actual end when he drops it down? Walk me through your emotions. Did you record it?
I recorded myself watching it, and
so maybe
I think just before I answer that, going back, you and I have been having this conversation for months leading up to this. Anyway, we've been throwing it backwards and forwards. You've been a pro Hafthor supporter right back. You said he's going to do it. You said he's going to do it. After he pulled that 480 in the gym, I think it was, and that was a clean 480. That was lovely.
Which as well, obviously the suit is going to give you an extra 30 kilos. So
yeah. But and for those who know, if you lift weights, and even they said it on the stream, 1 kilo matters. Like 1 kilo is a lot when you're lifting. Because I lift now. I've gone from mixed martial arts to lifting. I've moved into powerlifting. So getting that extra 5 kilos every week is it's hard work. You got to earn it. Yeah. So when he was coming up to the bar, I like I said, I messaged you 30, 45 seconds before he was about to do the lift. And I went, I think he's going to pull this, just because I could sense the energy. I could sense the energy was different. It changed. It wasn't it didn't look like he was lifting it didn't feel like he was lifting for the room. It just like he was centered. I could sense him. I could feel it. It's the best way I could explain it. I could feel it that he was actually going to do it. And it's the same way that I felt when I watched Conor McGregor fight against Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
I could feel the energy just before he stepped in and then tagged him, and that was the quickest knockout ever. I was just like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, so I saw him. He gets to the bar. He sets up. He does his normal setup that he done. And then, boom, it came up speedily off the ground. got just up to his thighs, and you can see it just slowed down, and then that lockout, just a slight hitch, and it was just a slight hitch. There was no big hitching. It just put his hips under, stood up with it, and then he looked at the camera like with ease. It was just like, that was awesome. I was like, okay, you are the man. You're the man of the day. My hat got taken off. I was just like, okay, you're the man.
Yeah. I mean, and not to take away from Eddie. I mean, Eddie got me into the whole thing. Well, the guy who got me into the sport and stuff like that is, of course, Robert Frank. But the guy, when I saw Eddie's lift, I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And anybody who hasn't seen Eddie Hall lifting the 500, you need to see it.
Even you can't stop watching that lift. That lift was the lift. It was just like, it was such a powerful moment in lifting history. And then to do it in front of that crowd, I want to see Thor pull 520 in front of a crowd. I want to see Eddie come back and pull 550 in front of a crowd. I want to see when the world gets its wheels back on, and its training wheels knocked off again, and we can get back into things. I want to see this stuff happen.
That would be epic. And anybody who watches it, and of course, there's all the interviews with Eddie afterwards, his aftermath, and he goes into the story of how he got himself into that mindset, and he explains that scientifically it wasn't possible, but with the psychologist and the hypnotist and his team, they got him to trigger the fight or flight mechanism that gave him access to, as he says, like 100% of his muscle capacity. So I mean, I don't know if Thor did that.
Do you know what? He looked calm even after the lift. I think that he's just pulled it, but brutally on his own merit. Like, not saying that Eddie didn't do it on his own merit, but I think that Thor did it just basic on genetics and lifting. And now to add to that, he's had a great coach.
I agree.
He's had an amazing, so Sebastian, the Australian strength coach, I follow him as well, and I talk to a bunch of his lifters that he coaches. Man, that guy's a genius. And since Thor's worked with Sebastian, all his lifts have gone up. Nice. And he's got some great lifters under him, and he himself is an amazing lifter. But since Thor's been with him, if you look at Thor's, if you go back and have a look at Thor's 2015 deadlift, World's Strongest Man deadlift, it looks horrible in comparison. Now, I can only wish for a lift that heavy in the first place, but in comparison, I'm comparing his lifts from then to now. That's a 5-year journey. So I think he met Sebastian in like 2016. I don't know how long he's worked with him, maybe 4 years. 3 years. Since he's worked with Sebastian, wow. His techniques come along. Man, he just made that, he blasted it. He made that look easy.
So when the weights were going up and you see him lock it up, what were you feeling at the top? When he did the lift and he held it, what were you feeling? What was your like inner monologue or facial expression?
Well, I wanted to scream. Like, I wanted to scream how they were screaming, because when you see anyone, it doesn't even matter what the weight is. When you see anyone achieve something that they put their heart and their time into, and they achieve, you want to be overjoyed for that person. So I wanted to scream, but I had my wife and the kids and a baby sleeping in the same room, and we're all still in the same room right now. They're playing Lego over here, but I was just like, I was screaming on the inside. I was screaming on the inside because he made it look pleasant. He wasn't hurt, and that's the best thing, is that I'm glad he's not hurt. I'm glad he's not injured. I'm glad he came off the platform and he kissed his missus.
Yeah, perfect.
Just like, no worries. And then he did an interview and he was hardly gassed. I come off of doing like a pause deadlift, and I'm coming gassed just from doing a set of 4.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was the same thing. I was watching it and I was just like, as it was going up, fucking hell, like, oh my god, he's gonna sorry, the kids are there. I'm sorry. But
no. Hey, I'm good. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, I was like, fucking hell, he's gonna do it, and I'm just like gobsmacked. I have the recording on my phone of my expression, so I'll watch it later.
I recorded myself just in case, because it was still 50-50 for me. It was still 50-50, even though I believed him before he walked up to the bar. Yeah, it was still 50-50 for me going in, because I was going to record my response to what was going on. So I still haven't watched that back as well, just to see how I looked.
That was incredible. That is it. So do you think we're going to see 520 in our lifetime then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He made that. He walked away from that. Like I said to my wife, while we're watching the lift, I was like, I wonder if he's got any any ambulance people around, if there's any medics around, just in case. Because when Eddie pulled his, my man, he lost sight in one eye. He blasted himself. So I actually, was slightly concerned for Thor, but he wasn't concerned.
No,
these Icelandics, mate, they're built differently. 6'9", just beastly.
No, definitely, he is one of a kind in that respect. They're not. What is he, like 6'7", 6'8" or something? 450 pounds.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane, man. So yeah, I do hope we get to see it in some kind of auditorium where an act of strength like that gets the acclaim and the praise I think it deserves.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to record this as a world record? Is this going to be official world record?
Yeah, well, the fact that he had judging that, and then he had all the calibrated plates. I think it should be counted. Before this, I would have said no, because we didn't do it in front of the crowd and yada yada yada. But he had the same same kind of setup that you would have anyway if you're going to pull this in front of a crowd. You just didn't have the crowd.
Correct.
But I would love to see this happen for 501 plus in front of a crowd. That's what I want to see now. So
who's the other guy who's making an attempt? Ivan Makovol. What's his name? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't. If he's the Russian guy who wears the yellow suit, he's tried pulling 500 in training a few times. I've watched a couple of his videos, but he still doesn't look as close. Like his second attempts don't look as clean as Eddie and Thor's attempts. They just don't. He looks like he might have it in the tank, but it's nowhere near these two.
I mean, to be fair to him, apparently he sent out a message after his last 500 attempt. I don't know if he tried the 501, but I think he did the 500. Didn't make it. And he did say that he wasn't feeling up the stuff. He was kind of, he was feeling ill, this, that, and the other, and stuff like that. And he did say he's coming back and he's shooting for 520. So,
there's a young fella that I think it's Luke Richardson. I think is he a Scot? Yeah, he's probably going to be the next one to pull 500.
You think so?
Yeah.
You've been training
these young bucks coming through, yeah, bro. These young bucks coming through. They're the ones we got to watch.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Do you think you'll pull 500?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No. Well, my next aim is for 300. I think you saw Lawrence. I think Lawrence Shelley. I think it's Lawrence. Yeah, who was commentating from England. He said that for him, he said 250 is a good pull. And so I pulled 250. I'm on the road to getting close to 270 now, and 300 will be my main goal moving forward from there. So, to be honest, and we have to talk about it because it's real. I'm not a geared lifter, and I'm a drug-free lifter as well. So there are a lot of drug-free lifters who are lifting above 300 and 330, 350, I think. But I've only started my proper lifting life in the last 7 months.
But in that time, somebody has already accused you of taking the gear, so that's a compliment.
Right? I mean, it is a compliment, and it's not the first time. I must have had at least 10 people compliment me by saying that I'm using some sort of human growth hormone, because my lifts were increasing quite quickly, and it shouldn't be going so well to do with my age. I'm like, man, when you look at strongmen like what's his name? He lifts for England. Hey?
Zadrunas, the Lithuanian. He's in his 40s, like mid-40s.
No, the 50-year-old lifts for England.
I know who you are.
With the massive hands, the best grip in the world.
I know. I can't remember.
Big black fella. His legs just gone.
Not the strong man.
Oh, everybody, forgive us. How can we forget? Like, I could see his face. I literally could see his face. And I've got a brain fart.
Yeah.
Got a brain fart.
I know what you mean. I know the guy. He did the Hercules hold, and I think he won the
for joke. and he's got the biggest hands. But you know, he didn't start lifting until he was 40.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's still doing a normal job. So, you know, like there's no limits. I'm not limiting myself. I have a great coach that I'm under, and I have a great team that work with me. So 300 is the next goal, and we'll go from there. But 400, I'm like,
I mean, we don't really have equipment to do dead, and personally for me, the deadlift it's risky. So I haven't cracked 200 at all. I haven't even come close. I think my last one was probably just 140. But I don't train. I don't train it very often. But after watching these guys, it's like, oh dang, man, I really.
Well, the thing about deadlift is it's not a useful lift for anything really. I don't think. Like I think it's pointless unless it's sport specific. There's no point doing it.
That was kind of my attitude. I didn't need it. There are other ways I could work my legs and stuff, unless I want to do deadlift. And man, lifts are very inspiring, you know.
Yeah. So, well, in powerlifting, it's bench, squat, and deadlift. So I train deadlift. I prefer not to train deadlift, but it's going well. So I just go with it, bro. What are your goals at the moment for lifting?
I'm more weight loss.
Get back.
I'm trying to get jacked and ripped and stuff like that. So
jacked and tanned.
Yeah, jacked tanned, the juiciest fuckers, you know. Guys. I'm not trying to bulk up too much. So my goal would be I would like to get above the 150 for the deadlift. I was benching 140 before I left the gym, which was, I mean, that's total PR. I've done it a couple times, and then I got sick and I went back and I wasn't even anywhere near that. I was like 110. So I was like,
yeah. So what kind of program are you running?
It's just strength training. It's just strength training. Oh, the kids are out there.
My son's deciding to scream really loud and sing. That's fine. Carry on.
Do tell them I said hi. You know, that'd be great. Oh,
Brooke says hi, everybody.
My friends
they just ignored you, Brooke. No one said anything. They just went back to playing on it.
You don't remember me, man. It's been a while. My friend Spec is actually giving me the gear that I need to take some cleanse, P3, and cardio, and I'll be right up there.
140, bro. There's nothing wrong. 140 is a great bench press.
It took me a year to get up to that, and I got sick at the end of last year, and I was out for 2 months, and I'm not eating and all that other kind of thing. I completely lost it when I went back in, but I know if I get back into training, about that.
How's Carnival going?
We did well. Yeah, they had Carnival in Trinidad. I haven't followed up with it. I wasn't there. I wasn't allowed to fly.
No, how's Carnivore? As in your diet?
Oh, I thought you said Carnival.
Carnival.
Still going. I'm doing steak and eggs, 1 meal a day, Monday to Friday, and so the weekends I give myself a little flexibility, so I could eat some other stuff. I still enjoy a pizza once in a while. This morning,
buddy,
my breakfast. But in the week, solid. It's steak and eggs, 1 meal, because I can't get to a gym, so I'm not really exerting a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I've been on that for 2 weeks now. I've lost over 5 pounds in the 2 weeks. 5 pounds I put on in the quarantine. So
there you go.
I'm gonna keep it up at least until I get back to the gym, and then I'm gonna start eating more food, to maintain. So
I put on 20 pounds in the quarantine.
You're off the diet then. You're off the carnivore. You were doing carnivore.
I went. Yeah, so I went off carnivore October, November. My coach said to me that he thought the only way we could find out was he thought that my lifting would probably benefit better if I introduced carbs.
Yes, carbs.
And the scientific data that keto is bad for endurance or our kind of lifting.
Sure.
And I said I'm not doing keto, I'm doing carnivore. But anyway, I said, you know what, I'm just going to be a subservient person to my coach, and I'm just going to crack on. So I added carbs back into my life back in November, and what are we now? We're in May, and I put on 20 pounds. So I've turned back to the carnivore again, but like yourself, it's more varied, and so I get some carbs in there, and then but I still have meat, eggs, and that's about 80%. 80% of my diet is still meativore.
Meat. Yeah. Me too.
Because I actually like vegetables, some vegetables.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, right? I like a salad every now and then. Yesterday I had steak, jack and potato, and some salad. Oh man, it was beautiful.
I do miss the potatoes. I have to admit, I do like a good potato, man.
I gotta
But
stay away from the sugar.
oh, dude, I miss the honey in my coffee.
Yeah,
You know, oh. So what I've been doing, right? Because I'm upping the salt as well. Because when you're on carnivore, you don't retain as much water, so you flush out a lot of mineral. I've been putting salt in my coffee like I would do with sugar, and it's
yeah.
actually been really, really good.
I've never tried that, and it sounds awful.
I know how it sounds, but give it a try. Eat just a small pinch. Put a pinch of salt in your coffee. It actually heightens the taste and flavor of everything.
No, I get it because you put some salt in cakes and stuff. So and then it gives it a bit of taste. Yeah, no, I get it. So I'll give it a go. I thought you were talking like about a teaspoon because I used to salt water.
I'm doing pretty much a teaspoon at this point. Maybe not a teaspoon, but like a good chunk of salt where it does have like a salt taste, but I have nothing sweet. But it's great. I don't know why.
I can't drink coffee anymore. That's one thing that carnivore did for me was when I was on carnivore, I found out that I was allergic to caffeine.
Allergic to caffeine. Wow. Okay.
I had an allergy to coffee or to either to the plant or to the caffeine, something along those lines. Because I started having heart palpitations. The only thing that changed through my eating was I started adding in coffee because I started to enjoy the taste of coffee. And I wasn't a strict carnivore eater, which was meat and water.
Yeah.
I was a varied carnivore. I was basically just eat animal products, and then I'd have like a creamy coffee. As soon as I started upping my coffee to like 2 times a day, I started having some issues. I even went to hospital, mate.
I did not know that, bro. Sorry to hear.
Yeah. No, I was fine. I went to hospital. I had to get my. I was put on an ECG machine. Then I went to a heart specialist, and there was nothing. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with my heart. And so then I thought I was having panic attacks. I was like, what the heck is? Yeah, it was having a mad effect. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? The only thing that I've introduced to my diet was coffee. I laid off coffee. Haven't had one since.
That is the great thing about the carnivore diet is that when you start introducing stuff, you learn very quickly what your body can tolerate and not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even for me, there was one day a friend is asking me if I'm sensitive to carbs, and I'm sensitive to most carbs, and I figured that out when I tried to eat different pizzas. So there's this great place not very far from where I live. It's called Pizza Top. I'll give them a plug. $9.99 for a 15-inch pizza. Really, really good deal. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. But the minute I ate, and I do the thin crust, I ate the dough, my mouth started to swell. Like the inside of my mouth swelled up. Not like sore, like just something in like maybe the gluten or whatever.
Wow.
I had no clue. So I had to, find another pizza place.
Yeah.
And then the other day I had an incident where I ordered a breakfast from my regular breakfast place is closed. I went to somewhere new. And whatever oil they're using for to kind of fry on, I had a reaction to that. I got these very big sores in my mouth. Like, so carnivore is great to figure out these kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, exclusive diets of any type. Once you start to pull stuff out and put stuff in, you can start to find out what's wrong and what your body don't like. So, absolutely. Yeah. But you know what? My lifting hasn't been affected since I've gone back to carnivore. In fact, it's probably got better. So I'm going to move back to being more carnivorous.
I do about 80-90%. I think once the majority of it, just keep for me, I need fat. I need high fat. So, full cream.
Love the fats.
Butter,
come on.
But people are different. So I'm not going to keep you though. Oh,
well,
sure.
Before we end, what was great was watching going back to Thor. We got to see his whole team. So we got to see his dietitian and Stan Efferdine. So before we did carnivore, I was doing the vertical diet, which is what Stan Efferdine promotes, and he created the vertical diet. So you saw it was meat, rice, carrots.
Yes.
And if you can't eat the amount of calories, you add orange juice in, which stimulates your hunger. So that's what he does with these. So he's working with all these elite lifters, and he's promoting meat, rice, carrots.
Excellent. I mean, the only carb that I eat would, apart from some honey in my coffee, would be rice. That's it.
Love white rice. Love it.
Yeah. I do a little basmati.
I do have some spaghetti bolognese. every now and again. But
Oh, I miss pasta. I have to admit, I do miss. And I live with an Italian guy. He's a very good cook, so he's killing me.
oh wait, I got to show you what before we go.
Yeah.
Zion, can you go get those noodles off the counter for me, please? I'll show them. So I got these. I had a friend call me up just about an hour ago before Thor came on, and said, "Can I borrow some kettlebells?" Oh yeah, I've got some kettlebells you can borrow. And he bought me. So these spicy noodles have made it all over. They've gone viral all over YouTube, and you eat these spicy noodles, and they're meant to be super duper spicy. So I'm so in love right now. I'll be having some of that with my steak.
Next time we have you on, we'll do a cooking show, and you can cook for us. You know.
Absolutely. Well, we can do some ASMR, and I'll some mukbang, and I'll
Herbie, my friend, this was just off the cuff. We decided to do this. Always good to see you. How can people get in touch with you if they got questions, maybe training?
Hey, anyone want to reach out to me, man? We can connect. You can get me on Instagram. I spend most of my time on Instagram, and it's Herb the Love Bug without the spaces. At Herb the Love Bug. Easy as. Come and say hi, and then I'll follow you back, and we can get some conversation going.
Fantastic, bro. Good to see you, man. I hope.
Always good to see you, bro. Thanks for this,
man. Yeah. Give my
Champion.
best to the family.
All right, viewers, everybody else, peace.
All right, guys. So everybody watching, like, share, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you later.